and his angels were thrown down with him. Thrown down with his angels. This is compelling evidence that the being the serpent symbolizes was, in fact, a spiritual being. That spiritual being represented by the serpent was not created by God as evil, nor did he exist with God in the beginning, but was an originally good being, part of God's creation, who somehow fell and became Satan. Now God, the Bible does describe in 2 Peter spiritual beings, angelic beings, who fell. 2 Peter, for God did not spare the angels when they what? Sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to pits of the nether gloom. It's exactly like you were thrown down to the earth and his angels were thrown down with him. We must conclude that the serpent which tempted human beings and sinned is an angelic being, an angel. An angel with dominion over other angels, according to 2 Peter. Are you with me? This is the Scripture's testimony. Then the Bible describes the fall of that angel. How you are fallen from heaven. Oh, who? Lucifer, day star, son of dawn. Cut down to the ground, you who laid the nations low. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven, above the stars of God, etc., etc. You were brought down to Sheol, to hell, to the depths of the pit. So then what was the angelic sin? What was the nature of the sin for which the angel was condemned? We have traditionally looked at these two things as separate. But in fact, they're very connected. The only place where the nature of the angelic sin is identified is in the book of Jude. And the angels that did not keep their own position, but left their proper dwelling, have been kept in him in eternal chains in the nether gloom. There they are, fallen again down. They're brought down to Sheol.
That's right.
Just as Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding cities, which likewise acted immorally. Now some have said, well, that means that the neighboring cities acted immorally like Sodom. But no. In the original Aramaic, the pronouns are clear. You don't refer to a city with a masculine pronoun. And it's a masculine pronoun saying likewise, like the angels. It means the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring towns was like the sin of the angels. Likewise acted immorally. King James Version says committed fornication and indulged in an unnatural lust. It clearly, that scripture compares the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah to the angelic sin. Then when we consider this from Jude 6 and 7, we know that the angel's sin was a sexual in nature. A misdirection and misuse of love. Now what about the crime of Adam and Eve? Well, consider just from our common sense. Before they ate the fruit, they were naked and they were not what? Ashamed. Was there anything for Adam and Eve to be ashamed of?
No.
Something wrong with their nose?
No.
Some reason why they should cover their belly button?
No.
Nothing shameful. But after they committed the sin of the fall, of eating the fruit, they did become ashamed. But for some strange reason, they didn't cover their mouths. They didn't hide their hands behind their back so that it wouldn't, my mom caught me in the cookie jar a couple of times in my life. And when she caught me in the cookie jar, I didn't go... I didn't cover my lower parts. I covered up the sinful action. I covered up what was sinning. I covered my mouth and put the cookie behind my back. What are you doing? Meantime, got milk? I'm trying to get it out of my mouth. Have you been in the cookie? Are you telling me that you're I didn't do this. But just from our understanding of human nature, we can see that the first human ancestors felt compelled to cover their lower parts. They suddenly became shameful, centered on those. Now here's an interesting quote from Job, who said, I too, like Adam, have concealed my transgressions by hiding mine iniquity in my bosom. Adam tried to conceal his transgression by hiding his iniquity. What did Adam hide? We have to ask. So from Genesis, we can infer that Adam and Eve's misdeed had to do with the misuse of their sexuality. Hence, we can deduce that an illicit sexual relationship must have occurred. There's some connection between the angelic sin and the human sin. You may not have looked at it that way, and I'm kind of stating the conclusion first. But the biblical evidence is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. Remember, the angel tempted Eve to partake of the fruit. Then Eve tempted Adam to partake of the fruit. Two specific aspects of the fall. Then what does that fruit represent? It's something that was so extraordinarily desirable, more than life itself. Well, I maintain that love is deeper than life. And human beings will die for their desire of love, commit suicide if their life is without love. Love drives people crazy. So because God created from the motive of love. Love is deeper than life. But yet love is meant to be multiplied in maturity. After becoming fruitful. So why was the commandment there at that time? You should not eat of the fruit. Because they were not yet. Oh, we never thought about it that way either. So you might say, well, wait a minute, wait. How can you say they were not mature? I'll give you some real clear, obvious evidence. How many have children? Now, you ever go away on a trip or go someplace and you tell your son, don't go in my room or don't drive my car, and you come back and, the fender's crunched or something's broken. You ever been there? Any parent ever been there? Then what happens when you come in and you say, what happened to my car? Or what happened to my room? Is all your kids line up and say, we don't know, Dad, but let's find out. We want to help. Is that how they do it? No. What do your kids say? I don't know. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. He was there. I was the first. Why do your children do like that? Because they're what? Immature. They're irresponsible because of immaturity, not because they're evil or bad. Does that make sense? Are you with me? Yeah. Then when God, in the cool of the day, came in the garden and said, who told you were naked? Why are you feeling? Well, what did Adam say? The woman whom you gave me. She made me do it. And Eve's response was what? The serpent made me do it. That's the first manifestation of their immaturity. But more important is the commandment, meaning a relationship between God and man by obedience. Because of the fear of punishment. Is that the permanent basis by which we become one with God? No. The commandment was necessary because of the growing period. Because of human responsibility. When man comes in the image of God and knows love as he knows God, the power of love binds them together. Not fear, not obedience. Are you with me on that? So that's why they were told not to eat of the fruit. Let's consider what that fruit represents. The love of Eve. As a tree multiplies through its fruit, so also Eve was to bear good children. At the point of maturing, that fruit of knowledge could be knowledge of good or knowledge of evil. Instead, Eve bore evil children through her satanic love, false love. Eve's eating of the fruit denotes that she consummated an internal relationship with the angel, which bound her in blood ties to her. Let me make it a little more plain. Let's consider the root of sin from biblical evidence. The root of sin is that let me first of all lay it out. That the first human ancestors had an illicit relationship with an angel symbolized by a serpent. Now that must raise many questions. Many questions. Let's look at them one by one. They could not multiply God's good lineage, but instead multiplied Satan's evil lineage. Remember? The woman's seed and the serpent's seed. Where did he get a seed from? Where did he get a lineage from? The angel can't have children. Why is there suddenly the lineage which led to Jesus that was going to have enmity with the lineage of the serpent? He didn't have literal children. It has to do with the relationship established with man through this fall. Let's look at now. The tree they ate of is the tree